We're on the road with Mickey, we're gonna have some fun. Regardless of the rain or sun, our trip has just begun. So buckle up, let's go, we're about to start the show. And maybe if you like us, you'll see where else we'll go.
Hey everyone, I'm Mike, and she's Sophie.
And he's Grogu.
And we're on the road with Mickey. We have a special guest today, Kim from Pixie Vacations.
Hello.
Welcome. Welcome.
And we're missing our rock. We're missing Brenda today. And she told us to go on without her, but unfortunately she has been in the path of the hurricane. And so that's why she's not able to join us today. But we want to tell everyone in the affected area that we're praying for you and we're looking after you. And we hope that you all are back on your feet in plenty of time and that the worst is over and you're able to get past, and just remember that we're praying for you. So
Yes. We're praying for you, and luckily we are 90% sure that Brenda is safe right now. She's not
yeah.
in the direct path of the hurricane. All she's dealing with right now is loss of power, but she still has a roof over her head. She still has food to eat. She is currently safe. Beryl has not affected
Yeah.
her too much beyond that. So
She
praying that she stays safe and that she'll be with us again next week or as soon as possible.
Exactly. And she had, yeah, she's doing good. She hopefully will get power back. We're recording on Wednesday, July 10th. We don't normally say that, but hopefully she'll get power back tonight, and then she's in cleanup mode. So that's what.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk with Brenda next time. And until then, this week, our feature topic is 5 can't miss experiences at Disneyland Resort. And our friend Kim is a Disneyland expert because she lives on that coast. She lives it, she breathes it. She is awesome at it. And I am so excited that Kim has decided to grace us with her presence. So thank you, Kim.
Oh
Yes,
man,
thank you.
thank you guys for inviting me. I'm excited to be here and to share my wealth of knowledge with everybody.
A veritable wealth indeed. Well, before we get into that, we have some cheddar from the big cheese, don't we, Daddy?
We do. And I'm going to start by taking us over to Universal Orlando Resort. And they have announced their 2024 holiday festivities that will run from November 22nd through December 31st this year. We don't have any specifics on what we're going to see, but traditionally, we see the Grinch at Universal Orlando, as well as the Macy's Holiday Parade like we saw last year. Oh my gosh, that was so cool.
That was really, really cool. It
And
had all sorts of different movies in it.
and floats specifically from the Macy's that had been in the Macy's Thanksgiving
Mm-hmm.
Day Parade.
The
So
balloons.
yeah, some of the balloons from it, not the floats. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is really cool. And I expect those would be there. And I'm sure there'll be a whole lot more. But we don't have specifics yet. So we're kind of guessing on that. But we do have specifics on the dates. So if you
Mm-hmm.
are looking to experience Universal Orlando Resort during that time, reach out to us and we'll see if we can't help you plan your trip.
All right. Well, moving on from Christmas in July. Merry Christmas, by the way. Um, in the That Didn't Take Long department, news is out that the Hush Puppies, which we reported on last week, were gone from Columbia Harbor House. But they are now back for our enjoyment, which is really good for us because we love Hush Puppies.
Hmm.
And you can get them as a side for $4.99 or along with some of the entrees. They aren't on the menu yet. but they will be shortly.
Yeah, and even though they're not on the menu, you can still order them as even though they're not listed.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the secret menu, you
Yep.
know?
Insider's knowledge.
Yeah. And I'm like, that is so funny because literally last week we announced that they were gone off the menu.
I
And
know.
I think it's proof, don't you think, Sophie? I
That
know
Disney
Brenda would
listens
agree
to us?
that Disney is finally starting to listen to us.
I don't know, Daddy.
I mean, I'm going to claim it. I'm taking ownership. There you
If
go.
Disney is actually listening to us, then what they will do is they will make a new restaurant in Disney Springs and call it the House of Mouse after that amazing TV show that was on in the early 2000s.
Yes, I love House of Mouse. I second that motion. I will sign the
See?
petition.
See? We've got the most powerful person here. She will definitely make sure that they listen to me. I
And you
mean
know what?
us.
You know what? We'll do one at Disney Springs and one at downtown Disney.
There you
Yeah.
go.
That
They
way
just,
everyone
they're remodeling everything there. They may as well stick another new restaurant in there too.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, that's settled. Good show,
So,
people. Thanks for
Disney,
joining us.
yeah. Disney, this is how to prove if you're listening.
That's
Do
right.
this.
We're
You
watching.
know, Kim, we have been on for over 4 years, and I think this is the first time that something changed right after we announced that it was gone, it's back. So, it might be another 4 years before the House of Mouse restaurant kicks into gear. Maybe
Hey,
they're
I'll
just
be
now
around.
catching
I'll be
up.
waiting.
Maybe it took Disney that long to catch up to where we are on the show.
Yeah.
Maybe. Who knows?
I
They
don't
are
know.
pretty busy, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, it is time for our feature topic. As always, in the show notes, don't forget to follow us. We have links for our Facebook page, um, on the road with Mickey.com, or on the road with Mickey Facebook page, as well as our Facebook group, which we have a lot of fun talking Disney and other things in. We have our YouTube channel, we have our Instagram link, and you can even email us at info@ontheroadwithmickey.com. So feel free to fill up my inbox with email and ask questions, and we'll put them in an episode and we'll answer the questions. But now it's time for our feature topic, and Kim is going to start us off because she is our Disneyland expert. She's our subject
Mhm.
matter expert, and our topic is 5 can't miss experiences at Disneyland Resort. So, Kim, you start us off with what's first on your list.
Okay, well, I will go off the holiday topic we were just speaking about and talk about how holidays at Disneyland are absolutely a can't miss. You have such a special experience when you go to Disneyland during any holiday, whether it be Halloween, Christmas. I guess I can't just say Christmas because during the holidays from November through January 8th, they are celebrating all the holidays. You can go, and no matter what your faith is, you can go and you can celebrate your holiday with other people who also celebrate with you, which I think is absolutely special. And one thing that Disney does good is just bringing people together like that. So
Yeah,
I feel like
exactly.
that's a wonderful thing that they do. Um, you know, just do not miss any kind of holiday celebration. The extra food that they put out is delicious. The extra entertainment, the Christmas parade is the best. It is my absolute favorite and has a very special little place right here in my heart. It's called A Christmas Fantasy Parade, and as soon as I hear that song, the spirit of the season.
Nice. You can
Ooh.
sing all
Tears
you
just
want.
start rolling, and then it just takes you right back. So, um, just Disney is real good at what they do. Really good at what they do.
You know, I have
Cool.
never been to Disneyland during the holiday season.
Me
My
neither.
Both of our experiences with Disneyland have been in June, when my birthday is. So if you have any pictures or any videos of anything regarding the holidays at Disneyland to share with us, please feel free to do so. I'm sure you're part of the Facebook group where a lot of our followers will hang out and post things for us.
Yeah.
Please share the photos with us. I am dying to see them.
Awesome. I definitely
Exactly.
will. Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
And Christmas isn't really the only holiday. I also spoke about Halloween. You know, they have their special ticketed event, the Oogie Boogie Bash, that always goes out real big every year. You know, they see characters that you don't see at the parks really ever anywhere else. You know, they have all their villains out and their best villains that they can find. And last year they had the villain from Roger Rabbit was out with the dip, and he was
They
just
had Judge
absolutely.
Doom?
They had Judge Doom out, and he was devious, and he was scary, and he was everything that you'd hope he would be, and it was quite an experience, and it's really cool how they work it. You know, you go through the trick or treat lines, and you know you go through and it goes real fast and you get your candy and you get to see your character and you get your experience and you move on, and it's
Uh-huh.
really fun, and you get to see so many different characters just a few hours. You know, you're just overwhelmed with characters. So
Wow.
um and not only that, but everybody gets to dress up, everybody. So grown-ups can wear their big princess gown if they want to, or you know, full on dress, like if they want to look like Jessica Rabbit to meet Judge Doom, you know, you can come
Uh-huh.
fully dressed like that. So I think that
Wow.
makes it really special too, is you get to truly be a kid at Halloween during the Oogie Boogie Bash at Disneyland. Like you get to get right back to your childhood, and you're trick or treating along with the kids, and you have your bag of candy, and you have your costumes. So I feel like that's a really special experience too.
Oh,
Cool.
wow. You know, piggybacking off of you again, I actually do have my Halloween costume planned for this year. It's probably not going to make it to Disney, but what I'm planning out is basically a Constance Hatchaway interpretation. You know,
Oh,
the bride from the Haunted Mansion. I have
yes.
the dress, it's hung up in my closet. I just need to get the wig and the makeup and the veil. I even have an axe that I planned on carrying around.
Perfect. Hurry back.
Here comes the
Yeah.
bride.
Just don't scare Jonathan, okay?
He he already knows. I'm not gonna scare him.
Okay.
And
Just
he
making
hasn't put
sure.
a ring on my finger yet, so he's safe for now.
There you go. There you go.
That's right.
All
But
right. Well, that's a great start, Kim. That's a great
yes,
start. So we're going to go around and around and around. And now it is Sophie's turn. So, Sophie, what is first on your list?
well, thinking about the Haunted Mansion, since I already brought it up, a lot of what is on my list is going to be not quite as expansive as what Miss Kim's list involves, just because I don't have the same experience with Disneyland as she does. But I do have the experience of a few summers spent there when I was younger, like
Hmm.
before this podcast even started. And
Yeah.
one of the things that is very different from Disney World, which is where most of my experience lies, is New Orleans Square. It is one of the lands that Disneyland has that Magic Kingdom does not. And so it incorporates a lot of different rides that you would find in other areas of the park in Magic Kingdom, and it makes them into one land. And the theming for it is very, very on point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um, Haunted Mansion, especially. The one in Disney World is more of a New England Gothic style mansion, while as the one in Disneyland is a New Orleans type antebellum South Manor house that you would find on a large estate. And It is different, and I would like to go back and experience it. There are a lot of things that I would like to go back and experience at Disneyland because Miss Kim has given me a whole lot of ideas. I just need to rack up the money first.
There you go. Well, you also need to time it right because right now Haunted Mansion is closed for refurbishment.
Well,
Yes.
yeah,
So
I'm not going
don't go
back
right now.
anytime. I'm
Don't go
not
right
going
now.
back anytime soon. I just got back from Disney like a month ago.
Yeah.
Luckily, with the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland, they are going to be reopening it during Halloween time this year. Even though it's
Okay.
not completely finished, they're going to be doing, I believe, a virtual queue only or a lightning lane, some kind of
Oh.
special
Hmm.
entryway because they're working on the entrance right now. But because they do the special layover, which is another cool thing about the Halloween there, they have the Haunted Mansion layover, so it's the Nightmare Before Christmas layover in the Haunted Mansion. So because they usually do that, I think that that's why they're opening it up for Halloween. So
Yeah,
goodness, they're going to be doing that.
Good.
Yeah.
that is yet another thing that I want to experience. I've never experienced the Nightmare Before Christmas layover.
Usually when I'm there, that's because I usually go in the fall and in the Christmas times is usually when I would go. Except for the last couple of years, I've been there all the time. So, all the time. But so it was kind of weird experiencing the original for the first time for me because I had seen only the Haunted Mansion layover. And so when I finally experienced the original, I was like, oh, this is so different and so cool.
Yeah?
Uh, yeah, it's just really neat that's why it's so important to go so many times a year so that you
Mhm.
can
Exactly.
or
That
at least more than once or different times of the year when you go because then you can see all the different every time of year has its own special thing.
yeah. That's cool. And you're right.
Absolutely.
And I'm just gonna put it out right now. Kim is not a paid sponsor by Disney.
No,
No.
I'm just a big
she's
nerd.
she's like us. She's just drunk the Kool-Aid.
I just really love it. It makes me so happy being there. It's
Yeah.
Well,
truly the happiest place on earth. It really is.
it is. And you know what? That is totally understandable.
Yeah. Exactly. All
Yes.
right. Is it my turn?
It's
It
my
is your
turn.
turn.
All right. Well, the first thing I want to talk about, and you're going to find that most of mine, I think, are going to be kind of lame on the scale of super experiences because I'm always looking at it from a comparison standpoint of Disneyland and Disney World.
Yeah.
And one of the things I miss at Disney World is still at Disneyland in its original version, and that is Mickey's Toontown. And I absolutely, when we first saw Mickey's Toontown in 2013, I about fell over on how cool Toontown is. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it has so much to do and it is so neat. And I absolutely loved it. And I love Toontown. That is one of the top dog things I love to see at Disneyland is Toontown. So,
Absolutely. And they just remodeled everything and
hmm
everything is so different but still the same. And they have so many new places for the kiddos to play. Like the splash pad, Donald Duck's house is now a splash pad. And they have the fountain that's interactive in as soon as you enter, there's this big giant fountain and the kids can push the water and make the water splash up. And of course,
hmm
Goofy's house, playing in Goofy's house. That's one of our favorite memories is, going into Goofy's house and walking through
yeah.
the watermelon. And
And now you've got Mickey and Minnie and the Runaway Railway
yes,
in Toontown. That's where they
that's
put it, Sophie,
Ooh, you know what?
which
That
is the
might
perfect fit.
perfect
actually be
spot.
really cool to see it in.
At
Yeah.
the El Capitan Theater,
Okay.
which I think is a great nod to the Capitan Theater that they had,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
whole backstory behind that. I love it.
Well, I'm
So,
quite curious to see it.
yeah, it's the same exact ride as what we have at Hollywood Studios, if I understand correctly.
Well, yes,
But
but the theming is different.
right, but
Yep,
having it
it-
in Toontown makes a difference. Yeah.
It does. Yep. It really gets you in the spirit as soon as you walk under that bridge into Toontown and you're like, all right, I'm ready for that ride.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing can
Exactly.
stop us now.
Nothing.
There you go. All right. So that's the first one on mine. So, Kim,
Good one,
just
Mike.
like
Good
that,
one.
we're on number 2. And
All
that's how we're
right.
going to roll. And it's just going to keep going around and around.
Okay, so number 2. Are we ready? Drum roll, please. No. I'm going to talk about nighttime spectaculars. I'm talking
Ooh.
World of Color in Disney California Adventure, fireworks at the castle, Phantasmic on the Rivers of America. All 3 of these are a don't miss. Like, this is a reason why it's very important to go for more than 2 days because there is more than 2 days worth of things to see. A lot of people I've noticed, that I've talked to have tried to do just 2 days at the park, and there's just not enough time to see everything there is to see. And with these spectaculars, it's wonderful because they're all so different that you really there's no way you feel like you're, oh well, another fireworks show, like that's not how it feels at all. Like this,
Hmm.
you go to see Phantasmic, it's got its own, its own story. The fireworks show has its own story. You go to World of Color, a whole new story over there. And the fact that they changed the theming for the fireworks and World of Color. World of Color, they change at Christmas time. They do a holiday version. And, fireworks, right now they're doing Pixar Fest fireworks. So everything is Pixar themed. And at Christmas time, holiday time, they'll be doing holiday firework themed and Halloween firework themes. So it's definitely one of those things that even if you go more than once a year, you still got to make sure you check out those shows because it's probably going to be something different than what you saw before.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah. World of Color just gets me right in the feels every time.
Oh,
Especially
yeah.
right now, they have World of Color 1, and it starts out with Walt speaking, and just that's it. I'm done. Call it.
Yeah, exactly. And
I'm like across the park, and I hear it, and I'm like, Ma.
I
Can't handle
saw
even right now talking about it. I'm a little misty.
I saw World of Color on the 60th anniversary when during that trip. We saw it before as well in 2013, but in the 60th anniversary when Walt actually was part of the show, it just blew me away. It was
Anytime you hear him speak, it's just goosebumps.
yeah,
That man was wonderful. He was a wonderful man.
yeah,
One of the best men to live in his time, really, and in almost any time.
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yep.
Oh.
We love you. We love you, Walt.
Yep. All right, Sophie, number 2 for you.
Well, now that she's talking about World of Color, I was going to save the best for last, but now I feel like I have to talk about it now.
Okay.
I adore World of Color. It is absolutely breathtaking to behold.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the story of it for me is um, back when I was going to visit my friend in California, Jagan is her name, um, I would spend 2 to 3 weeks during the summer with her and her family. They had a lovely home in Los Angeles, and basically what would happen is Aunt Sheila would take me and Jagan. She would drop us off at whatever theme park we were going to visit that day, and we would hang out there until she and Uncle Randy would come to join us later in the day for dinner, and then we would go and eat dinner and maybe catch one of the nighttime shows. And this specific trip was June of 2017, and that was the year that I turned 16. So when Sheila asked me, well, I was planning out this trip with my dad, she was like, Sophie, what do you want to do for your 16th birthday? And I was like, I want to see World of Color. And she said, okay, we'll make that happen. And the way we planned it out perfectly, I said, I turned 16 at 10:47 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that means I turned 16 at 7:47 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or whatever time zone California's in.
Yeah, that is
You got
correct.
it right.
Yep, Pacific Standard Time. And so Aunt Sheila got us a reservation for one of the restaurants in Disneyland. It was the Skipper's Cantina, I believe, over in Adventureland. We ate there. I turned 16 while I was sitting down for that meal. And then immediately after that, we went across the way to California Adventure, and we got a spot to sit and watch World of Color. And that was the first attraction that I experienced as a 16-year-old. And it is just so beautiful. The closest show that they have at Walt Disney World that I could compare to World of Color would have been Harmonious. And that is why I was so heartbroken when they took it away. It
Yeah.
was my favorite show at Walt Disney World because it was so reminiscent of World of Color. World of Color is my favorite show in any Disney resort. And now that we're talking about this, I'm thinking I need to plan a trip back. I know it's going to be expensive, but I need to plan a trip.
Yes,
Sounds
me
good.
too.
Do you know a travel agent, Sophie?
Oh, yeah, Aunt Brenda.
There you go. See? She's my travel agent. I mean,
Don't
I
worry, Daddy. I will go through you, I promise.
thanks. I could use the sales credit. Um, I was I was flying down for PixieCon, Kim, and I'm like, Brenda, I want to ride Slinky Dog Dash, and she's like, okay. When you before you get on the plane, buy your Genie Plus. And I'm like, okay, done. Bought Genie Plus. And then while I was on the plane, before it landed, she was on her My Disney experience with her Genie Plus, booking the three of us, her and her husband and me, a Slinky Dog reservation. So
I
she is
love,
my travel agent. I
I
wouldn't have been
love
able
it.
to.
Yes, yes. We all
That's
So
have
fun.
our, our gifts, and
Hmm.
that's why we're friends, so that we can share them all with each other.
Oh,
exactly.
yeah. I mean, the last time I
Exactly.
went to Disney World was, again, last month. Daddy was the one who bought my tickets for me.
Mhm.
So he was my travel agent, and he'll
There
be
you
my
go.
travel agent again.
Yeah. Now, just to flash back to World of Color. Our first trip, Kim, was in 2013. It was our first trip to Disneyland, and we actually stayed at our DVC resort, which was the Grand Californian. And
Yes,
we had bought in 2010, and we bought Grand California because they had a special because they were trying to close out the sales for the resort. So we got a really good deal.
awesome.
And but we had never stayed there. And in 2013, I'm like, why don't we go over and we'll stay there? And so we did our reservation and we get there and our room's not ready. And we're like, okay, that's fine. We were early. We didn't think our room would be ready. I'm like, we'll go to Target and get some supplies and just they'll text us. And so
Hmm.
we're at Target and we get a text, your room is ready. And I'm like, oh wow, because it wasn't even like 11 o'clock. And
Wow.
I'm like, okay. So we go back, we finish our shopping, we go back, we get into the lobby, we're like, we got a text, our room is ready. And they said, yeah, here it is. Here's your key, here's the room number. Just go here, and you'll get there. And we get to our room and we open the door. And first of all, we only had a studio because that's all we needed for the three of us. The
Yeah.
bed had rose petals on it.
And the towels were
And the
shaped like
towels
two
were shaped
swans.
like two swans and it made a heart. And I feel like they gave us someone's honeymoon suite And I'm like, we've got a 12-year-old. Why did they give us a honeymoon suite? But Sophie loved it. She's like, let me collect all the rose petals. And she collected all the rose petals.
I collected them because I didn't want them on your bed while you were sleeping.
And but the
They
best
were
part
just
about
trying to
it,
spark some romance, you know.
evidently, the best part about it though is it had a balcony that looked right over Pixar or Paradise
Paradise
Pier
Pier.
at the
Yeah.
time. And we saw half of where World of Color would be and Goofy Sky School.
Hmm.
And it was so cool, Kim, because we would keep the door cracked open when we were going to bed, and the music from Paradise Pier would put us to sleep.
I
And it
love
was
that.
it was
Oh,
it was so fantastic. It was so cool.
what a cute memory to have, though. That's core memory stuff right there.
It
Falling
sure
It
is core
is.
memory.
Paradise Pier music. That's awesome.
It is. I loved Paradise Pier
Oh yeah.
so
California,
much.
it is such a gorgeous resort. Or
Hmm.
Oh
hotel.
yeah.
It is absolutely beautiful. Like I almost feel like I'm not good enough to stay there.
Oh, you're good enough. You're good enough, Kim. Don't worry about that.
Do I belong
You
here? I don't know. I'm in my button up, you know.
You
you
belong.
deserve the
Oh
world.
no, everybody deserves to stay there.
Yeah.
It's a
Yes.
real treat. It's a real treat.
Yeah. It was so cool. Um So that's my see. I like to interject into other people's lists, so that way when I have like 10, it feels like I only have 5.
There you go.
But anyway, next on my list is a fabulous land that I wish was at Disney World, but is not, and I don't think ever will be. In part because they want to keep things a little different at each side, and I'm talking about Cars Land,
I
and
knew you were gonna say
especially
that. Yes, we love Cars Land.
Cars Land at night. Oh
Yes.
my
Mm,
gosh.
the
Flo's
lighting.
D8 Cafe, the lighting, the neon. Oh my gosh.
Have
It
you heard of when they do the shaboom? Have you heard of that?
Oh,
At
you
yeah.
night
mean the when
when the
everything turns neon.
yes, when the lights come on and they play that life could be a dream. Do,
Hmm.
do,
Life could
do,
be a
I
do.
dream.
love it.
It's so
Love
cute.
it.
It's so
I
cute.
got
Yeah.
I love it so much. I gotta go turn on Cars at some point today or this week. It
Turn on the
is
music, Daddy. The music makes the movie.
It
yeah.
does. It's true. That was my son's first favorite movie. Was Cars and Toy Story were his
Oh,
favorites.
I've
And
got
Oh.
so they have a very special place in my heart. That whole land just makes me so happy.
I took so Cindy, Sophie, and I saw Cars several times, and then we went up to visit my family, and we saw my sister and my niece Stephanie, and they went with us, and we went to see the movie, and we saw Cars,
Hmm.
and they hadn't seen it yet, and there was the point in the movie where Mater's like, "Frank's gonna get you, Frank's gonna
Yeah.
get you," and my wife Cindy and my sister Robin just exploded in laughter, and I thought they were gonna wet themselves, Kim. I thought they were gonna eat. It was so funny, and my niece Stephanie is just like, I don't know them. I don't know them. It was
Oh,
so funny, and to this day, it's still funny.
that's great. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Larry the Cable Guy, his voice is just perfect for Mater. Absolutely. They
Yeah,
couldn't have
Yeah.
done any better.
absolutely. It
I
was
recently
so
saw a
funny.
clip of him talking about how grateful he is to be even part of that. And even he's getting tears in his eyes, you know, he's like, I've got to be Mater, you know, that's so special. It's like nobody
Yeah.
could have been Mater as good as that guy.
No.
Nobody. And
But
but
it was so funny.
even now I can just hear my mom. There was a time where she would be doing Mater impressions left and right. She was like, Frank's gonna get you, Frank's gonna get you, and I'm like, Mommy, stop it.
Frank's not even here.
She would pretend to be Frank if it meant she got to
I
chase me
love
around the
it.
house.
Cute.
Yeah. So Cars Land. And I like the land as much as I like the ride. Radiator Springs Racers is awesome,
Mhm.
but to me, it's the land. It's the whole experience about it. That's what really gets me is the whole land. So
Let's
Yeah.
not forget Mater's Junkyard Jamboree.
Oh boy,
that's
we love that ride. Oh my gosh.
That's the ride that Jagan and I first met on.
Oh,
yep,
how fun.
Well, we didn't meet on the ride, but that was the first ride we went on together.
yep.
Awesome.
It was
That's
fun.
awesome.
We even remember exactly which tractor we were riding behind.
Oh,
He had green eyes and his mouth was closed. Most of them have their mouths open, but he had green eyes and his mouth was closed.
that is so cute. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a neat story because we um Sheila is Jagan's mom, and Sheila and I used to write on a blog together called the Disney Moms. It wasn't the Moms panel; it was just a website called the Disney Moms, and I was part of that group as well, and there were other guys as well. But I posted on my blog, My Dreams of Disney. I said we're going to Disneyland, and Sheila was following me and reading my posts, and she said, "Hey, when you get there, let's meet up." And so we arranged. She arranged the whole thing about texting me, getting my number, texting us, and we arranged to meet. And we've been friends now since that first time in 2013. We've been friends and like Sophie said, the girls rode Mater's Junkyard Jamboree, their first ride. They would FaceTime together while they played their games and just have that connection, even though we're all the way across the country from each other.
Yeah.
And now we're going on 11 plus years of being friends. It's
How cool
family
is
you
that?
choose, and that's what's really cool.
That's
Mhm.
it. Exactly. Yep. Family you choose.
So, but anyway, your turn again, Kim. What's
Oh,
number
me
3 on
again.
your list?
Okay. Let me see what I got going on here. Okay. So now we're going to go to specialty dining experiences. So I'm thinking like Blue Bayou, the only
Oh, I love
in-ride
it.
restaurant in Disneyland. And it is absolutely stunning. And you sit in there and you watch the boats come by on pirates and you smell the pirate water the whole time during your meal, and the food is amazing, and the Monte Cristo is to die
Oh my
for.
goodness. I
Oh my
love that
gosh.
Monte Cristo.
And a mint julep. So that's definitely a do not miss. Um, they do something at Napa Rose, they do a princess character dining experience. So it's breakfast with the princesses. And I had not experienced this until a couple years ago. I went with my best friend Anna, and it was just me and her grown-ups, a couple of grown-up little girls, going to visit their princesses and have breakfast. And it was, we once again cried.
Well,
Silly
Anna
as
will
being
cry at the
Disney will
drop of
be
the
for
hat.
everything I do. Uh, because it's just so wonderful how they do it. They make sure it's a very slow paced breakfast. So nobody's rushing you. You get your quality time with the princesses. They actually take you from your table to escort you back to the princesses. And the princesses are rotating constantly during your breakfast. So you get
Mm.
personal one on one time with each princess without anybody behind you in line, and nobody's rushing you, and it's truly a wonderful experience if you are a princess fan. If you have somebody in your family who is wanting to meet their favorite princess, if they love Ariel or Aurora, Tiana, all of them are there. And it was really really fun. And then we even got little souvenirs. At the end they give you a little pouch of stuff, and we were because we were crying the whole time. They gave us the necklaces that the little girls usually get. Like if you bring your little girl, they get a little princess necklace. But because we were basically grown-up little girls, they were like, you could have these too. So we got
Oh.
keepsake necklaces as well, and it was just a really special experience. Highly recommend it. It is a little bit spendy, but like I said, it's worth every penny if it's something that you're into and are gonna enjoy. And, they have different character dining all over the resort, Goofy's Kitchen, Storyteller's Cafe. They have breakfast with Minnie Mouse in the park at Plaza Inn. But I think one of my favorite special places to eat is Lamplight Lounge that's now on Pixar Pier. Simply because we're going to go back to World of Color here. You can view World of Color from your dinner seat at Lamplight Lounge. If you get a late enough reservation and you ask for outdoor seating, you can go down by the water and you can just have front row view and enjoy your lobster nachos and have a nice drink and enjoy the show and not fight the crowd. So I feel like that is absolutely something that's very special and something
you ask you,
miss.
Is Lamplight Lounge where the Ariel dining used to be?
Old Ariel's Grotto.
Because we ate there at Ariel's Grotto.
Yes.
In that first trip, and it was a lot of fun. And I remember it being right there, and you could also see what was then California Screamin', taken off from where we were sitting. So that's the same spot.
Same spot, same exact seating arrangements and everything, I believe. And yeah, so that used to be the old Princess dining, but now they've moved it. The princesses are now at Napa Rose, and Lamplight is amazing.
And also, what's the preferred? What sort of time schedule should you be looking for the reservation?
For the reservation, I would say, because the first World of Color show starts at 9:15, I believe. So if you make a reservation around 8, and even if you're not eating, if you already had dinner, just make a reservation and have drinks and appetizers and have a nice show. And even if you can't make the reservation, they do walk-ups as well, and you might be able to luck out and get a walk-up. No problem going down on that's what happened with us last time, actually. We walked up and we said, do you have any tables on the water? And we ended up getting able to walk right in and sit right down and had a nice time. So
that's cool. When Sophie was younger, we went to Disney World with some friends, and we were staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and they wanted to eat at Cinderella's table, and we made a reservation, but it was a late reservation. It was like 8:45, and I'm like, this is the worst reservation, because they had like a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. I'm like, those kids are going to be so hungry. But we kept it, and we got there, and we're eating dinner, and we were inside the castle when where they announced the fireworks, and we were able to see the fireworks from inside the castle. And the show played, and it was so cool. It was the worst reservation that turned into the best experience ever,
And you know what?
Yes.
And you know what? That was the best way to view the fireworks, because I was still very little at this time. I know which friends you're talking about, River and Isaiah. They were the 3 and the 5-year-old. None of us liked big firework sounds. We were scared to death of fireworks. I was, at least. I couldn't watch fireworks from outside because it was so loud. I couldn't stand it. So being inside while the fireworks were going up, I had the perfect view. We all did. And not as much noise.
And you're sitting down and you're eating and everybody's in their comfort zone, that's absolutely perfect.
I had an entire glass goblet of apple juice.
Ooh, fancy. A goblet of juice.
The fanciest juice. It was literally, the glass was purple. And it looked so pretty. I felt like a queen while I was drinking it.
You were the apple juice queen.
There you go. All right. Well, that's a great one, Kim. So, Sophie, it's time for number 3 on your list.
Number three. There are quite a lot of duplicates today.
It's okay.
They must be really good if we both think that they're can't miss.
Well, yes. Well, actually, I suppose this one isn't really a duplicate, but I know it's going to be on Daddy's list somewhere. Like, it has to be there officially. Paradise Pier. Paradise Pier is my favorite part of the entire resort, honestly. And even now that it's Pixar Pier, it's still basically the same as what I remembered it being, which was that just iconic, classic, California Santa Monica type pier.
Yes.
And I've
Totally.
never been to Santa Monica Pier, but Jagan has. She's told me about it, and she has said to me, Paradise Pier is basically Santa Monica Pier, but it's not on the ocean. And
Yeah.
it's so classic. It's
Mhm.
like that perfect fair that has the Ferris wheel and the roller coasters and the swings that go up in the air, and it's everything that a fair should be. And I love the North Carolina State Fair. The North Carolina State Fair is one of my favorite things that comes around early October. But it's dirty. It's dirty because it's only temporary. They have to set it up really hastily and then take it down really hastily. And all throughout the rest of the year, the place where it stands is literally just an open grassy field with some gravel paths here and there. Paradise Pier is permanent. It's clean. They clean it every night. You know everything is as sturdy and stable as it can be, and it just makes it better.
Yes, absolutely.
The first
Yeah.
time I rode California Screaming, I saw the loop-de-loop, and I was scared of the loop-de-loop. I don't like going upside down at all. California Screaming is now it's the Incredicoaster. That is the only roller coaster I will go on that has a loop-de-loop on it, unless Expedition Everest has one that I don't know about.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Good. Good, because I don't like loop-de-loops, but I'll do the Incredicoaster.
Incredicoaster's cool.
It is great.
It
That's
is
good to
great.
know about the loop-de-loop because I'm right there with you. I saw that we go upside down and I said, no, thank you. I'll pass forever on this.
No
I don't think I'll
thanks.
ever be able to do it. So maybe one of
You
these
need to
days I
try
will
it,
get the
Kim.
guts to do it. I know. I want to
I
so
love it.
bad. I just need to be brave like Sophie.
I will say
So-
this. I will say this, Miss Kim. When I ride the Incredicoaster, that loop happens so fast you almost don't realize you're going upside down. It's
Okay.
literally you're going up, then you're going down, and you don't even realize what happened.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that
so
definitely
cool.
helps. But
It is so cool.
I'm right there with you. I don't like being upside down. There's this one ride at Busch Gardens. Sorry to go off on a tangent. It's called Tempesto. And that ride is literally a circle track, but it takes you up vertically and then you're going horizontally. And if this finger is the track and this finger is me, it's going like that.
Oh,
It's
no, thank
Just
you.
doing
corkscrew.
corkscrews. Yeah.
And it's
Ooh,
doing
yeah.
them slowly. It's
And
doing
it
them
is so
slowly.
funny.
No, I don't want to be able to think about it. Just speed me through.
It was so
Exactly.
funny because Sophie was with her other best friend Riley when they rode Tempesto, and they got off out of it after they had ridden it, and Sophie's
I was
like,
crying.
she's like, I can't believe it. And Riley says, well, it's just like the rock and roller coaster. And Sophie goes, I hate the rock and roller coaster. It was so funny.
And then Riley went, oh, well, don't worry. It's not like that at all.
It was so funny.
I was in tears when we got off that ride.
Oh, no.
Riley was lucky. I love her so much.
But what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something about I think about the Incredicoaster.
You were.
Oh,
Something about
yeah.
loop-de-loops.
Yeah. Back when it was California Screaming, I wrote it with Shane, who is my niece's husband, and I recorded it. So if you want a really funny YouTube, I'll send you the link, Kim. If you want a funny YouTube of me and Shane riding, and all you're going to hear is me screaming like a little girl, okay? But you'll be able to see the ride while you're, on YouTube, and maybe that'll give you the courage to see it's not that bad, and that you'll
Okay.
be able to enjoy it. And
Okay.
just make sure you mute your volume because otherwise your ears will start to bleed. It's one of those kinds of things. So,
Got it. Okay.
but yeah, great one, Sophie. Great number 3. Paradise
Yeah.
Pier, Pixar Pier, and I actually have some stuff from that.
I
That you know
told
what
you I knew it was going to be a duplicate.
you know what? Here's the thing, Kim. I am when it comes to Ferris wheels, I am absolutely chicken. It I do not like them.
Me
Ask
too.
Sophie. I really do not like them because as a kid, I read too many horror stories, Stephen King novels of fun houses and some psycho who didn't tighten a bolt right. And so I always figure it's going to break and I'm going to die. That's
Yeah.
what I always figured. But I absolutely love Mickey's Fun Wheel.
You
It
do. Oh
I
my
love Mickey's
gosh.
Fun Wheel. I
Okay.
love Mickey's Fun Wheel so much. I like the one that moves,
You're
The
the
shaking
crazy
cars.
guy.
I
Hey, I
love
love
it.
that one too.
I love it. It
Oh
is
my goodness.
so cool. And it's because I know it's Disney.
Right.
It's not going to fall apart because
Mhm.
it's Disney. I'm not going to have any problem because it's Disney,
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Tangent. Sophie and I, we get this naturally. We both, go on tangents. And my tangent is I used to never like Soren because I didn't like the feeling like I was going to fall to my death from the clouds and so forth.
Right.
But one time early on, I like it now. And one time back then when I didn't like it as much, I I was right on the edge of a row and I looked down and I could see the floor and I'm like, okay, if I fall out, it's really only like a 10-foot drop and it's only gonna be like a broken leg. It'll be okay,
If
you know? Um, and so after that I was okay. But um but
you had
yeah,
to
I
just snap back
love
to reality for a second, Aaron. Yeah.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
Yep.
And
Get out of your own head for a minute.
and Mickey's Fun Wheel though, I love that ride. I
Oh my
absolutely love it.
goodness.
It is one of my favorites. So I'm gonna put that as my number 3.
All
So
right.
so it
I
is
don't know
now,
how many people out there will agree with you, but you know, I'm
My
but
sure
you
mom
don't
will
like
agree
it,
with
huh?
Kim's a
us.
crowd.
You don't like it, Kim?
I do not. I rode it one time, and I do not like heights. I will put that out there. That I am
Okay.
deathly afraid of heights. So being up, I believe being up that high is what really got me. Looking down and being like, "Oh my gosh, look at how high I am." I couldn't do that part. But it has been many, many years. Eventually, I might give it another try.
Next time we're
Maybe
over
when I
that
do the
way, we need
Incredicoaster.
to ride it together. Yeah.
Disneyland trip when?
Yes, yes.
But
And
no, I'm not going to
Conquer
make you
Kim's
go on.
fears.
I'm not going to make you go on the shaky one because I
Okay.
understand. Aunt Sheila can't do the shaky one. She has vertigo. So if she goes on the shaky carts, it will mess with her. She can't do it. So
Yeah.
because I'm not going to make her do it, I'm not going to make you do it.
I'll
Okay.
make you do it, Kim. You and I'll take the shaky
Daddy,
one.
no,
It'll be
no,
okay. It really
do not
will.
be mean.
Michael
I'm
have to
not.
carry me out of it. I'll be like, oh.
It'll be okay, Kim. It'll be okay.
Do you like
And
to make you premium ice cream bars? I'll
I
get you one.
yes,
do. I do.
We'll
we'll
get you
bribe you
one.
with like a box or something.
There you
Yeah,
go.
an entire case.
Um,
Just
what
walking
about
around with handfuls
Skyliner?
of Mickey bars.
Have you ever done the Skyliner at Disney World?
I have not, but looking at that thing gives me the heebie-jeebies, honestly, because of the
Okay.
same reason, the heights, and
Okay.
So I can
I want to love
understand.
it.
The Skyliner is so cool, Kim.
I will
It is
I
say it
bet.
so
is the most efficient way to get from point A to point B.
Okay.
It is the most efficient mode of transportation Disney has to offer. But I understand what you're talking about, because the first time we rode the Skyliner, as it was getting from the being in the middle of the wires that are carrying you from point A to point B, as it was getting to the station, I was like, shouldn't we be slowing down? It sped up a little bit, and then the car swung a little bit back and forth, but it did stop. We did not hit the car in front of us. Don't worry.
They
And
used to have problems with that.
they used to have problems with that. They have fixed it. I promise.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'm
Good.
saying, for the sake of efficiency, the Skyliner is something I might be with Daddy on trying to get you on, just because it is the best way to get to Epcot and to Hollywood Studios.
From
Good to know.
the
Okay.
certain parts. But
From
anyway,
certain resorts, but those
Certain
resorts are the
resorts.
best resorts. So like Pop Century, take the Skyliner.
yeah.
Definitely.
Anyway, back on topic.
Back
So-
on topic.
That's number 3. Number 4 for you,
Let's
Kim.
see. I have can't miss rides. Excuse me. So I'm thinking opening day rides. The rides that were there when Walt opened the park. Autopia, Disneyland Railroad, Jungle Cruise, the Carousel, of course, Mad Tea Party, the Mark Twain Riverboat. A lot of people probably don't consider that a ride, but I absolutely do. I love the riverboat
Sure.
so much. I love taking a cruise and just looking at all the animatronics that they put on the side and all of that stuff. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is one of them as well. Peter Pan, Snow White's Enchanted Wish, and the Storybook Land Canal Boats, which is another one of my absolute favorite rides that really doesn't seem exciting, but it is really special. It's a really cute and special ride. So I think that you definitely have to do all of those rides, because those are the ones that Walt opened the park and had everybody come do on the first day. So that makes them really, really special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And if you're not a fan of the stinky Autopia cars, you'll be happy to learn that they are working on making them not gas. They're going to be electronic cars. So if you need to wait a few years to go on Autopia, I understand.
Yep, they're
That
going to
smell
be
can be a little
electric
intense.
vehicles. Yeah, I don't need to do the Autopia.
I don't need to do it either, but I will say I'm rather weird. I quite like the smell of gasoline.
Do you? Okay, my daughter does too. Every time we're
Yeah.
at the gas station, she's like, like, no.
Yeah. My parent,
No,
it's
no, no.
probably not good for us. It's probably not good for us, but it's there. There's no way we can't not breathe it, so might as well just
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Make the
Same
best
thing
of
with
it.
post offices. I love the smell of post offices too.
Okay.
Anyway, back on topic. I keep on sidetracking. Is it my turn?
It's
It is
easy
your
to
turn.
do. It is your turn, Sophie.
Okay, well, this is actually something I've never experienced. At least, no, not at least. I've never ever experienced this because they don't have it in Disney World. Avengers Campus.
Yes.
Oh.
That did not open until after the last time I was at Disneyland. And I have been so interested to see what it is. Because, again, with Disneyland, they do have the Guardians of the Galaxy Tower of Terror skin, is what I call it, because it's literally
Yes.
just a cosmetic change. It's the exact same ride, but it's now Marvel. They don't have that in Hollywood Studios. They don't have that in Florida.
Mm-mm.
There are many things that I have not experienced over in Disneyland that maybe I should go and experience now.
Yeah,
And that should be
Avengers
something
Campus
that
is
we cover.
amazing. You absolutely should.
Yes.
Absolutely should experience that. It's really cool because they have shows all day long, like throughout the day. You can catch shows like the Dora Milaje, I believe,
Hmm.
is what I'm saying. I think I'm saying it right, from Wakanda. The warriors, the women warriors from Black
Ooh.
Panther. They come out,
Okay.
they do their show, and they are incredibly powerful. Just their presence being there in Avengers Campus when they come out, and it's the toot 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 toot. They got their spears and they're doing their thing, and it's amazing. They do another show up on top of the building there with Black Widow and Black Panther and a few others come out too and do like a little battle scene, basically like a movie scene kind of show with smoke and
Okay.
special effects and stuff like that. And then over here by the Tower of Terror skin, they have the dance party with the Guardians of the Galaxy. So Star-Lord's out there and he's doing his little dance party.
Ooh.
Gamora sometimes is out there, or Groot is out there, big tall Groot. Um, and then of course the Pym's Test Kitchen there. You can get giant pretzels. You know, the food is either shrunk down real small or it's blown up real big because of the Pym particles.
Did they charge the same for if it was regular sized?
So they it's two different options. So you can get the giant sandwich, the Pimini sandwich is what it's called, or you can get just a regular sized one. And so it is more expensive because you get the giant one, but if you're there
Got it.
with people, then you're sharing it and everybody gets a little piece and you can just split the cost. And then you get the experience of eating a giant sandwich.
Oh, that's
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. They make it really immersive over there. So
Uh-huh.
it's one of those places there's not a lot to do, but there's a lot to see and experience just in that land. So pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's a good one, Sophie.
that was a good
Um,
one.
my next one is has been touched on by Kim, but that's okay. And I am talking about the Disneyland Railroad. I
Yes.
am a huge Disney World and Disneyland Railroad fan, and I'm a huge fan of trains in general. I actually have had model railroads before and helped my dad build one at his house. Um, but what I love about Disneyland Railroad is how it was the idea for the railroad came about because of his backyard railroad he had at his house, and that was so cool, and that's what gave him the idea to build it around the park. And what was really neat to me is how they named the locomotives and how they all have different names based on legends, Disney legends, and Walt himself, of course. And um, what I love especially is when it stops in New Orleans Square and you're at and you're there waiting for it, you can hear on Morse code the sound, and that is the opening day speech in Morse code that is played over and over again on loop. And that
Oh, wow.
is so neat.
It is.
It just immerses you into that setting, and you can imagine yourself being there. Even though I don't know Morse code, knowing that that's what it says is really neat, and it's just like you picture yourself being there. So
Yeah.
it's really cool. So um that is just a neat thing that I absolutely love. I love the trains. I have a book, and it's funny how this happens, and how small the world can be. And no, It's a Small World is not on my list. Although it was a serious contender, it would be like number 6 or 7 on my list. But anyway, I have a book. We went one day. It was a Saturday or something, and we didn't have anything we were doing. And there was a train show in Raleigh at the convention center downtown.
Oh,
And
I
we live in
remember
Raleigh.
this.
And we went to the train show, and I'm like, this is so cool. And I was looking at stuff. What can I buy? What can I buy? I don't have any money. Okay, can't buy anything. But then they had a presenter who had a book, and the book was about the history of the Walt Disney Railroad. And it was written by Michael Broggie, who is the son of Roger Broggie, who was one of the Imagineers, one of the legends that worked with Walt. And
Wow.
Yeah.
he was there. He was in Raleigh
Wow.
talking about his book and selling his book, and we bought a copy. He signed it, and it turns out that he now works with the people over at Walt's Barn at Griffith Park, where the train is that they have there. And I've been there. Sophie, and I have been there and ridden that train. It is so cool.
That's
But
awesome.
we were talking with him, and he autographed it. And it turns out that he and Sophie have the same birthday.
June
Oh,
19th.
That's how small
awesome.
the world is, you know? This guy from California is in Raleigh on the day we happen to go there, and we're able to, and we have his book, and it is such a cool book. It is
That's
so
so
neat.
bad. Wow.
So it's just really neat. But the Disneyland Railroad, I love the Walt Disney World Railroad, and I love the Disneyland Railroad too. But I really love the train station in New Orleans Square with the Morse code, with the speech, the opening speech. That's just to the detail that Disney gets.
Yes.
That's where they win, is the detail, the level of detail they take in everything is what
Yeah,
makes it. That's what makes Disney Disney. So
it is. It is exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
so so that's number 4.
Okay. Last but not least, number 5. I'm gonna do character meet and greets for number 5 because there are a lot of character interactions at Disneyland, especially compared to Walt Disney World. Um, if you are in Fantasyland in the mornings, characters are roaming around everywhere. You don't have to wait in line. They just walk up to you, you walk up to them, you have a little conversation with Aladdin or Ariel or Geppetto and Pinocchio, or Genie and Aladdin will be out sometimes. The Mad Hatter and Alice are usually hanging out, walking around together by the teacups, and um, Peter Pan and Captain Hook, and
Mm-hmm.
um, just a lot of really fun characters that you don't just get to see everywhere. Um, and it's nice because you're not waiting in line. You're not having to go queue up to go see a character. It's really fun to just be able to, you're walking to your next ride and, oh, I got a hug from Captain Hook, or I got to hang out with Merida. Merida will take the kids and play games with Peter Pan, the two of them. They'll go off and have an adventure. My kids have done that so many times where they'll all of a sudden it's, okay, now we're going this way, like they get stolen basically by the characters, and then they go and play with all these other kids and go looking for Merida's brothers, or go on an adventure with Peter Pan to go get Captain Hook, and then they go and find Captain Hook, and then there he is, and then they also get to see him, and it's just a lot of fun. So definitely mornings in Fantasyland. If you're a character lover like me, I love my hugs. I love my character hugs. Um, that's the place to be in the mornings, is Fantasyland, to see all the originals too. The ones that have been around for a long time. Um, and right now, for like Disney California Adventure, they have a lot of characters. It's Pixar Fest. So Pixar Pier is full of different characters. You can meet Anger from Inside Out right now. And on
Mm-hmm.
the Disneyland side, they're also celebrating Pixar Fest. So they have the Luca boys are out, and
Oh.
um, Wade and Ember from Elemental are out right now until August. So they have another month there. Um, and at the new Pixar Place Hotel that used to be the Paradise Pier Hotel, it's Pixar Place now, they have Bing Bong from Inside Out, and Joe Gardner is in the lobby just playing piano. Like, it's so beautiful. And then you can just go and meet him, and he's in the lobby doing his thing, from Soul, Joe Gardner from
Oh,
Soul.
wow.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like there's a lot of really special interactions that you can have around the Disneyland Resort.
Yeah. And that's what really makes it neat is all those different interactions. You're able
Hmm.
to experience things that you wouldn't necessarily, you
Yes.
know?
And everybody has their favorite movie. So, and it's cool to be able to hug your favorite character from your favorite movie. It's a real special thing to be able to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Great. Great job, Kim. You got
Thank you.
this down.
Oh, yeah. She's a pro at this.
Uh-huh.
It's just like
Brenda,
everyday conversation for me. I meet a stranger, so you know what my favorite character is,
it's funny
Wow.
because when we first invited Brenda on to talk on the show, we were doing a series on the 9 old men.
Oh yes,
And
yep,
and
yep.
and we learned really quickly that Brenda is our researcher because she would have like 8 pages of notes about Ward Kimball or whoever,
Hmm.
and and Sophie and I would be like, "Well, I got this." you
Yeah.
know, she is by far. She's like, I have got this, and I know what I'm talking about. And we're like winging it. Let me see. What can I remember that happened 10 years ago? Yesterday, I don't remember.
What was
you
that
know.
guy's name again?
Yeah. Oh, Walt. Walt. That's right. It's Walt. But anyway, um, so great list. Great list, Kim.
Thank you guys so much. I had a blast sharing it. I had a lot of fun. This was fun.
All
It
right. Well,
was fun.
Sophie, what's
I do
number
have
5
one
on your
more.
list?
Yes,
Yeah.
Sophie and Mike need their number fives.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm still upset that this was taken away from Disney World, not Disneyland. It's still in Disneyland, thank goodness. But
Uh-huh.
that is the Animation Academy.
Oh.
Yes.
The fact that they thought to remove something as iconic as the Animation Academy from that entire area of Hollywood Studios that was basically dedicated to it. Like, literally, it was designed to look like an animation studio. It was designed to look like an extension of the Disney filming studios in Burbank, California. And now
Yeah.
it's just, well, I mean, it is the Star Wars launch base, so I've learned, but it's not nearly what
Not
it
the same.
was.
Right.
And
And
so,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm sorry, Sophie, for interrupting. Go ahead.
No, go right ahead.
Well, I was
I
gonna
can
say,
keep
and
saying.
there's part of it is over in Animal Kingdom, but it's not the same. It's nice that it's there, where you can draw the characters, but you're right. It's not the same thing. It's so I'm glad it's at Disneyland too.
And then they have the turtle talk with Crush in there. Love that so much. We love going and talking to Crush. He's so
Oh,
clever and
yeah.
always cracks us up. He's so funny.
And that actually speaks to the differences because Turtle Talk with Crush is in Animation Academy in Disneyland, but he's in Epcot in the Seas with Nemo and Friends
That's
is
right.
where
That's
he is
right.
there. And that's one of the things that you run into is uh, with Disneyland in the lack of space that they have to compress a lot of things into different areas. Like Star Tours is perfect in Tomorrowland in Disneyland,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not in Tomorrowland in Disney World. It's in Hollywood Studios, and it's not even in Galaxy's Edge. It's put
Which
aside from
blows
there.
my mind because I would think that they would move Star Tours into Galaxy's Edge because that makes sense to me to have all of the Star Wars
I mean,
things together, but it started in Tomorrowland, so I guess they just want to, Keep that
think
vibe going.
they don't have Star Wars and Galaxy's Edge over in Disney World either, and I think the reason for that is because Star Tours is set in the original trilogy. It's got Darth Vader, it's got
Yes.
the Emperor, while
Yep.
as everything in Galaxy's Edge is set in the sequel era. It's got
Yep. You're right.
Kylo
That.
Ren, Rey, Finn, blah blah blah.
Yep.
And it's
So
a different.
Kylo Ren. No, I'm just kidding.
no, you are completely right. Adam Driver is immaculate. Anyway,
Okay.
Hold on a minute.
When
Okay, I'm
let's
ready.
calm the faces down. Flush time over.
point
Both of
is
you.
we got off on
Grogu's
a
like,
tangent.
Tell me about
what
Kylo
am I?
Ren.
Chopped liver? That's what Grogu's saying.
Grogu is a child.
He's 50 years old. He's
We
my age.
we protect the children.
Okay, good. Well, are we ready for my last one?
I wasn't even finished talking about mine.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, honey.
Oh my goodness. Point
Yes.
is, Animation Academy. There is a spot in the Disneyland version that was never in the Florida version. And that is the sorcerer's study or whatever it was. The sorcerer's something. It was to do with Fantasia and Yensid and Mickey the Sorcerer's Apprentice. And I remember going down there with Jagan,
Uh-huh.
and they have these like barrels that spin, and you put these films, these like long lengths of film cartridges in them that you draw on yourself, and Jagan would spend absolutely hours drawing out an animation and spinning it around in that contraption, and it was so cool.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. We
And
still
now
have
I
that
want to
there,
go
it's
and
so
do my
fun.
own.
Yeah. And so one of the things that we are at a disadvantage, Kim, is some of the things that we remember. I wonder, are they still there? Like, is that part of Animation Academy still there? You know, those are the things I because the last thing I would want is for us to get there expecting to do a certain thing and then find out, oh, it closed last year or
Yeah.
whatever. You know,
Yeah.
that would be like, oh man. But
Yes, devastating for sure. They did take away Beast's library. They
okay.
took that
Yeah.
out, but everything else is there. The sorcerers, and
Oh,
then
thank
Anna
goodness.
and Elsa are doing meet and greets in there still. I don't know if you were there when they were doing meet and greets back then, but it's all Arendelle. Like you go in there and it's like you're like in the castle, and you meet on it. And
Gotcha.
sometimes Sven and Olaf are back, or not Sven, Kristoff and Olaf are back there,
Hmm.
hanging out too. So it just depends on who you get at what time. But yeah, they have that. And then Turtle Talk with Crush, and then of course the Animation Academy.
Yeah.
And it's a nice place with air conditioning. Oh my gosh. When you need a
So
break
Yes.
good.
to eat, it is perfect.
It is
So
good.
good.
I remember it was so funny. We were going to do the Animation Academy, and someone who was a local was there, and they were complaining about the humidity. And because it was like 80 degrees, we were there in June. It was like 80 degrees or something, and it was like 25% humidity. And we were like, oh, girl, you don't even know. Because North Carolina right now, last night I picked Sophie up at work. It was 89 degrees at 9:30 p.m.
It was
And,
pitch black outside.
and it was so muggy. It was so humid. And she's like,
Oh,
oh, it's hot.
man. Well, it's
So
been like 111 here with no humidity. So I don't know which I would rather have.
Yeah.
That real dry heat just doesn't sit well. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Jagan would say she prefers what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jagan,
Yeah.
when I was in Florida with her last time, that poor, poor girl, it was like the average was somewhere high 80s, low 90s the entire time, and it was humid, even though it rained almost every day, starting from about 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mhm.
poor Jake, and she could have drank in more water, I will say that, and she could have eaten more, but still, the heat, she's not built for Florida heat. She prefers California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's
All
different.
right.
It's different, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I am going to move on to my number 5.
All right. Now we'll take the drum roll.
Number 5 for me is Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. I love that ride. I love it, love it, love it. And the funny thing is, I never rode it when it was at Disney World. Ever. And I rode it when we went to Disneyland the first time. Sophie absolutely hates this ride.
Can't stand it.
I love it. I think it is awesome. And there are nods to Mr. Toad in Haunted Mansion in the cemetery,
Yes.
and also in
Winnie the
the
Pooh?
Mini Adventure of Winnie the Pooh, which is
Yep.
where it was replaced. And it is so cool. But I love that ride. It is so cool. But the funny thing is, Sophie doesn't like the ride, but she really likes the movie.
Oh, yeah.
The movie's awesome.
Ichabod and Mr.
The
Toad.
Tale of the Headless Horseman and Ichabod
Yeah.
Crane is my favorite American folktale ever.
It is a good one. It is a really good one.
It is a great
I
one.
have a confession. The first time I watched it was, I believe, last year.
Hey,
Wow.
better late than never.
Exactly.
That's true. I know. And then I rode the ride and I was like, I get it now.
Yeah. I will say, we have a huge collection of DVDs, like the discs, and the old cassette tapes as well from the early 2000s. And I'm pretty sure that one of my DVDs is a live action The Adventures of Mr. Toad. Like, it's live action. It's a bunch of human actors dressed up in like special effects makeup and costumes to look like the characters that they are. And it's
Wow.
like at least 30 minutes long, and it's a great movie.
Okay.
I don't think it's live action. I thought it was animation. But anyway,
No, it's definitely live action.
well, we have to pull it out and look at it.
Definitely.
See who's right and who's wrong.
That's right.
But anyway, that is number 5. And you know, the thing about it is when we come up with lists like this, Kim, almost without fail, if you were to ask me next week what my top 5 can't miss things are at Disneyland, it'd probably be different. And that's just the way it is with me.
Honestly,
So-
you just can't miss anything. It's all wonderful.
Yeah,
It's all
exactly.
special. It's all magic. It's all worth seeing. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, but that's our list, listeners. And I wanted to know what is on your list. So I'm going to post in the On the Road with Mickey group on Facebook. What are your can't miss experiences at Disneyland? And I hope you all will chime in with your comments, and we will read them back next week on next week's podcast as our listener feedback. So thank you, Kim, for joining us on this. And now, if you don't mind hanging around, we have to continue our show, and it is time for This Day in Disney History. So, Sophie, take it away.
All right. Well, there was a bit of cheddar that I thought Daddy might have mentioned earlier, but he didn't. Still,
Nope.
it's a good bit of cheddar. And it pertains to the Country Bear Jamboree, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
Well, after a long period of being closed for a much needed quote unquote update, the Country Bear Jamboree has reopened with new songs that we all know because they're Disney songs, and a brand new cast of refurbished animatronics. But that was my cheddar, and speaking of that, 1912 is the year July 15th. Imagineer and writer Al Bertino, who helped design many Disneyland attractions such as Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, the Haunted Mansion, Country Bear Jamboree, and America Sings, is born in California. First joining Disney in 1935, he worked on Pinocchio and Fantasia before writing for Disney's television series. Big Al, the most familiar face in Frontierland's Grizzly Hall, is a lovely tribute to Bertino.
Nice.
Oh, okay. That's so cute.
That is so cool. Great.
I like
great
to try
histories.
and pick history that pertains to some of the things we talk about.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There is a website called This Day in Disney History that we get all this from. And it's really neat because you just pick the day and it tells you everything that happened in the history of Disney going way back. I mean, even back in the 1800s when
The presidents were being born.
or when Walt's dad was born or Walt's mom was born or Walt's
Or
brother.
when they got married.
Yeah, I mean,
Very
just really
cool.
neat stuff, and it's just so cool. And so we've done that since day one, and that is an awesome website. So, but great history, Sophie. And our show is going up on July 15th. That's only 2 days from Disneyland's anniversary of opening. So it's really appropriate that
Yeah.
Kim is on the show and we're talking about Disneyland this week. It's just, I didn't even think about that. But it's 2 days. And next year, believe it or not, next year is 70 years of Disneyland.
Oh man, that means it's going to be 10 years since you were there last, which means you better get the heck over to Disneyland.
I will let you know if we're able to make that happen. But now it is time to stump the Soph. So as we've seen in the last few weeks, we are changing things up, and instead of giving clues and Sophie guesses the character, I'm now giving names of characters and Sophie has to guess the movie. And Kim, if you want to try, you're welcome to try and guess as well, right, Sophie? Is that okay?
Absolutely. If Kim wants to try, I will even give her the first guesses.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right. So the first character is Sykes.
Oliver and Company.
Lilo and Stitch.
Oliver and Company is
No!
correct.
Oh, you're right. Oliver and Company. You're right. Sykes. I was thinking Bubbles.
Cobra Bubbles. Yeah, that's a good one.
Are these that easy, Sophie?
You have to remember that when I was a little girl and I was still sleeping in that purple bedroom that you guys have for me still, I had these huge storybooks of all the Disney movies, and it basically was a summary of each and every one, and I would read it at night when you guys were asleep.
Okay.
He's been studying for years, basically.
Evidently. Well, I was also going to say Jenny Foxworth and Dodger, who, of course, is a born leader. And Dodger is nice because Cindy and Sophie's favorite baseball team is the LA Dodgers.
Nice, nice.
So
we love the LA Dodgers.
But anyway, great job as always, Kim. If you're going to be on the show, you're going to have to improve your game a little bit.
No, she doesn't.
I need to study like Sophie. I need that book.
She does not need to improve. She is perfect just as she is.
Oh,
Well,
thank
the
you.
funny thing is, Kim, is that the book I'm reading from is Disney Who's Who, an A to Z of Disney characters. And Sophie saw this book at BJ's and said, "Hey, can I get this book?" And we're like, "Okay." And so we bought the book, and I didn't know I was buying the book.
I bought the book.
Well, I bought the book, but it came out of the money that she had saved. So she bought the book and she turned around and wrapped it up and gave it to me for Christmas. And
Oh,
so so that's how we got all this, and that's what we use for our Stump the Soph, you know? And it used to be called the Disney Who's Who, but now it's Stump the Soph. So,
Stump the Soph
and
is catchy.
and he
and it
has
is
yet to
catchy,
stump the
and
Soph.
it is
Oh no,
very
he's stumped me
rare,
a couple of times.
Has
but
he?
it's
Okay.
very rare, very, very rare. So so anyway, that is the Stump the Soph, and it's Oliver and Company, as Sophie has notated. But that takes us to our final bit, and that's a little bit of Walt. And normally Brenda would read this, so I'm going to try and read it in her stead. And this is a quote we've had before, but I think it's still appropriate to this day. And Walt said, "We keep moving forward, opening new doors, and doing new things because we're curious, and curiosity keeps leading us down new paths." Walt Disney. And that is why we do our podcast. That's why we sell travel for Disney and get Disney people to plan their Disney trips, because we want them to experience what we experience at the parks. And that's why we do what we do, because we want to keep moving forward and we want to keep experiencing things, you know? And Walt Walt summed it up. So
One of my favorite quotes. Yep, that was a good one, Mike.
thank you. And thank you, Walt. So that, my friends, that wraps us up this week. We hope that you have enjoyed your time with us, that you have had a smile on your face. And if not, I hope if you're having a tough week that maybe we brought a smile to your face. And just remember, when you see people out and about, you don't know what they're going through, so give them a smile and maybe they'll have a better day because of it. But until next time, first of all, though, our feature topic next week, we need to report on that. And I thought it's time that we come back to our ABCs of Disney.
Yes.
Because we have a series, Kim. It's the ABCs of Disney. Things we like at Disney that start with. And we did M for Mike and B for Brenda. Now we're going to do S for Sophie.
Yay!
So next week's topic is the ABCs of Disney. Things we like at Disney that start with the letter S.
I love it.
And I've got a whole list already working in my head.
Aw, thank you, Daddy.
Yep. So that's next week. But until then, I'm Mike. She's Sophie. That's Kim. And he's Grogu. And Brenda, we hope to see you next week. And until then, we hope you all have a great week. And we will see you on the road.
Safe travels.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.